Salute. Boxing YTBC, what it is. This is Boxing Nocturnal Thoughts, man. Salute everybody out there. So, it looks like the Devin Haney versus George the Ferocious Kambosos might get across the line. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to hold my breath, but this fight looks like it's going to happen. And I'm really pulling for Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that, first of all, respect to his father, respect to the hustle and the grind. I think they've been putting in work and putting themselves in positions, you know what I'm saying, for this fight. So I want to say that me personally, I'm pulling for the dream, for the young Devin Haney to accomplish that dream of becoming undisputed. You know what I mean? But this is not going to be easy. This is not going to be a cakewalk for Devin Haney at all whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? Skills for skill, technique for technique, sword versus sword. It's going to be a tough fight. Let me say this. First of all, salute to the Rougarou. Regis Prograis, one of my favorite fighters, man. Had an excellent performance against this guy. I want to say his name was McKenna. Tyrone McKenna, something like that. Big, tall, lanky dude, but he had a lot of respect for Regis Prograis. But, I mean, that dude had a lot of holes in his game. He had a lot of, open spots in his defense. And Regis broke him down, picked him apart, had his way, got off a lot of good shots to the body, overhand punches, caught him flush, knocked him down, beat him up, lumped him up. It was a good fight, good performance by Regis Prograis, who's like this free agent boxer kind of bouncing around. I hope he just doesn't get timed out before he gets another shot at the title. We all know that Josh Taylor, that's another video for another day, but he's going up to, fight at 147, supposedly, after his fight with Jack Catterall didn't go the way he was. Well, it did. He actually got the nod. You know what I'm saying? He actually got it's recorded that he won that fight against Jack Catterall. But Regis Prograis, I just want to say that was an excellent performance. It was good to see you back in form after that, travesty against Ivan Redkach. Didn't allow you to put your full skills on display. And he's been training with the Declan Walsh, the Canadian nutritionist, strength and conditioning coach, same guy that's working with Errol Spence right now, getting him geared up and fired up and, primed up for this fight against Yordenis Ugas. So it was interesting to see what kind of form and shape and conditioning that the Rougarou was going to be in. And he definitely was like a werewolf, tearing people to shreds and that. I mean, he just chopped them up, cut them up into pieces, you dig? So back to Devin Haney versus George the Ferocious Kambosos. George trained with Manny Pacquiao, trained him up when he was preparing to fight against Timothy Bradley and other fighters. And he kind of jumped on the scene and just upset the apple cart when he defeated Teofimo Lopez. The takeover took over after he was riding high off of his victory against the Matrix Vasil High-Tech Lomachenko. And that was another shock to the world. Boxing world really had Lomachenko pound for pound, the Matrix. He had that one loss against Salido. I think that was his name. But that guy was, rough, forward, aggressive, dirty boxer, low blows, headbutts, elbows, and really didn't allow Lomachenko to put on his little dancing display, his footwork and his magnificent hand speed that he did against guys like Jorge Linares and Luke Campbell and Masayoshi Nakatani and Richard Comey and, you know what I'm saying, the Axeman and Nicholas Walters and Gilmore Rigondeaux and Gary Russell Jr., so on and so forth. So Teofimo Lopez beat one of the pound-for-pound guys, Vasily Lomachenko. and he had the opportunity to have a showcase fight, and then I was hoping he would go on to go undisputed with Devin Haney, or if not that, move up and fight Josh Taylor. You know what I'm saying, at 140. But Teofimo Lopez did the whole Triller. He dropped the ball. He tried to, bite off more than he could chew. He had this situation with Bob Arum that didn't work out with the fight. He went to Triller. Triller dropped the ball. They didn't work out. Ended up doing the purse bid. All this time he's having all these personal problems, as we all do in life, and then he goes in there, fights against a ready George Kambosos, and gets dropped early, and gets outboxed. You know what I'm saying? Gets outboxed. He fought his way back. He knocked down George Ferocious Kambosos, but he definitely didn't do himself any justice by not giving credit to his opponent, saying the best man won, and giving him his credit. He definitely came up with excuses and cried and complained. Even to this day, I still don't think he's really gave George the Ferocious his just due coming off of that victory. But watching George the Ferocious Kambosos training, his mental thought, that Spartan blood, you know what I mean? Spartan bloodline, should I say? George the Ferocious, I watched a couple of his fights. I think it was the Selby fight and some other fights. But him going against Devin Haney fought Yuriorkis Gamboa, Jorge Linares, Jojo Diaz, Alfredo Santiago. He had a knockout of the year against this one guy, Manny or something like that. The thing about it is, when I look at Devin Haney, people say he doesn't have power. And then in response to that, people say, well, people just want to see all these knockouts. So well, he's not a Devin. You got a guy that's not knocking people out there, and they say he's a boring fighter. Then they don't appreciate the boxing skills. And I hear that, but I don't agree with that. Because when I see Devin Haney not having power, it's not that he don't have power to knock people out with one hit. I mean, that's rare. I mean, Gervonta Tank Davis, to me, he has legitimate just knockout power, period. The way he folded up Leo Santa Cruz, that's just power. You know what I'm saying? One hit power. Devin Haney doesn't have that. But does he have the kind of power that could take away his opponent's energy? Can he break you down as the rounds go by? Can he put that work in to the body, rip those body shots, and slow his opponent down and break him down? And for what I see in his last couple of fights against like a older Jorge Linares, who we seen get dropped by Lomachenko, then Linares went up a weight class and got destroyed in one round, and then come back down. He's older. We want to see Linares get broken down. But what we saw, to me, was Linares' strength. He had Devin Haney hurt in the 9th round. That's no big deal. But Devin Haney, to me, his upper body and his legs are not perfectly complementary. Like, he's not perfectly balanced as a fighter. From the waist up, perfect boxer. Jab, he'll catch you coming in. He has a lot of punches that'll sneak in there where you can't just rush in on Devin Haney. Look, okay, versus George Ferocious Kambosos. First of all, Devin Haney is not Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez came in with his guns blazing, half-cocked, throwing caution to the wind, a bunch of weird power shots, gassed out, got caught, got dropped, never recalibrated, never made adjustments. Corner man was horrible. His father was horrible at giving him advice. You know what I'm saying? Basically was just telling him, just being a yes man and telling him he was winning the fight the whole time when he was losing the fight. But Devin Haney's going to come in cautious. He's going to find and establish the range. He's going to work behind a jab. He's going to counter. He's not going to gas himself out. He's going to catch you with those little sneaky punches. When you try to come in, he's going to hook off the jab and spin you. Is what he should do the whole night. You know what I'm saying? He should jab, jab. His jab is a piston jab, and it's on point. It's always focused. It's laser focused. His jab should be on point. His hook off and his spin should be on point. But where I see him having cracks in his armor is his legs sometimes betray him down the stretch, and he don't have the power to slow his opponent down and break them down to where they slow down and you keep them off of him. And George Ferocious Kambosos, if you can't keep George off of you, he can keep coming. And he has speed and he has crack. I don't want to say he definitely don't have like a one-punch knockout power, but he can put you down. We've seen him drop Teofimo Lopez, and Teofimo Lopez has a chin. So, you know, he can drop you. You can't take George Ferocious Kambosos and say, all I got to do is beat him 7 rounds to 5. To me, that's the wrong strategy. I mean, you can't go in there and pity pat and just do this point system. You got to go in there and be ready for war. You know what I'm saying? I know you get criticized for not getting sucked into these blow for blow fights, which you should not do, because that doesn't work great for you. When you got sucked into a punch for punch with Norez, you know what I'm saying, you almost got dropped. Your legs were you got hit, caught with some shots, and your legs betrayed you. Same thing with Jojo Diaz. Down the stretch, he started catching you with some overhand left punches, and Jojo Diaz is not a power puncher. He's a shorter guy, and he's a smaller guy. George Ferocious Kambosos, genetic-wise, is more of a balanced, complete fighter. He's not old like Norez. He's not small like Jojo Diaz. This, to me, would be the toughest opponent that I've seen Devin Haney fight. You know what I'm saying? And I definitely see that Devin Haney, with the right game plan, can outbox this guy. But at some point in time, he does have to get in. He's going to have to earn some respect too. He's going to have to show him, you can't just walk in on me. You can't just, you know what I'm saying, you ain't gonna be able to just bully me and pressure me and put me on my back foot and wear me down and break me down. You're gonna respect me. You're gonna respect what I got. My power gonna keep you at bay. He has to establish that, and it might come to the point where we might get pulled into a little bit of a firefight and kick up some dust. And when the dust settles, you're gonna see I'm still standing. It might come to that. So it's not gonna be a cakewalk. Based off the resume, based off the skills, George Ferocious Kambosos, he can counter with some speed. His left hand got some speed. He thinks. He is a thinker. He can get knocked down and get back up and keep fighting. He doesn't just give up. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't be surprised if both of these guys got dropped in that fight and had to get back up and keep fighting. So I want to see Devin Haney come in sharp, and if the fight happens, I pull for Devin Haney, but I know he has to be tightened up and improved, especially to me, fighting in the backyard. You know what I'm saying? Fighting in somebody's backyard, you're already going to be down on the scorecards. You dig what I'm saying? We've seen what happened with Jack Catterall and Josh Taylor. So you're talking about going in Australia, fighting in there a champion, a newly crowned king champion, and he's not, to me, he's not crowned through usurp. He didn't usurp, he earned it. He fought the hard way, got it out the mud, and you know what I'm saying, to me, Devin Haney's been fighting people that's tailor-made for him to shine. Like Yoriokas Gamboa, Jorge Linares, Jojo Diaz. Those guys you should have really shined on. And I ain't gonna say you didn't shine, but you didn't shine like you were supposed to. This guy might be the whole time watching you, studying you, and training to defeat guys like you and Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney. He's been in the cut, just sharpening his tools, and now he might be a threat that we just didn't see, you know, because we just really basing his performance off of Teofimo Lopez. But obviously this dude, you know, is more technical than I thought he was, has more power than I thought he did, has more heart, and I wouldn't take it lightly and just say that was a fluke that he had against Teofimo Lopez. You know what I'm saying? I would say that I would expect a better version. I would expect a better version of George Kambosos in the fight against Devin Haney, and Devin Haney should be training and be prepared on another level. You know what I'm saying? On another level, as if he was fighting Vasyl Lomachenko or Teofimo Lopez or Gervonta Tank Davis. He should be training with the mentality that this is the most dangerous, deadliest fight. You know what I'm saying? And it's kill or be killed. And you're talking about what Mike Tyson was talking about with Jermall Charlo, immortality. This is one of those legacy immortality fights. Jermall Charlo sitting in a hot boxing with Mike Tyson is another video for another day. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk about that later. Salute. Bow. I'm gone.